Good evening, this is Mr. Wintermelon. We have finally come to the last chapter of your O-level biology syllabus. In the previous chapter, we have learned about food chain, carbon cycle in ecology. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the impact of human have on the ecosystem. So just a brief chapter overview. First, we are going to learn about pollution. Next, we are going to learn about sewage treatment. And finally, in the last video, we are going to learn about conservation. So in this video, we are going to learn about the impact of the inorganic waste and insecticides have on the environment. Insecticides are basically chemical used by farmers to get rid of insects or pests. So another name is pesticide. I am grouping these two together because their impact are roughly the same. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to evaluate the effect of water pollution by inorganic waste and pollution due to insecticides, including bioaccumulation up the food chain, and impact on top carnivores or apex predator, APEX. That means top. But first, what is pollution? Pollution is the addition of substances to the environment that damage it, making it undesirable or unfit for life. Substances that cause pollution are known as pollutant, and for your O-level syllabus, you need to know around 4 of them. Inorganic waste, such as your heavy metal, for example, your lead, mercury, zinc. Insecticides, for example, DDT. Untreated sewage and fertilizer, their impact is more or less the same, so I have kept them for the next video. For this video, we will focus on how inorganic wastes. For this video, we will focus on how inorganic waste and insecticides affect the aquatic animal as well as us. So one of the examples of inorganic waste is mercury, and other inorganic waste can easily be released from factories if there is no regulation. So those inorganic waste can dissolve in water and affect the aquatic life. For insecticides, farmers will spray them onto their crops, get rid of the insect or the pest, which is why the other name is called pesticide. However, when it rains, the insecticides can dissolve in the water and get transported into the river. And as a result, those inorganic waste as well as insecticides will affect the aquatic plant and animal. So what happens when inorganic waste or insecticide is introduced into the water? They will quickly get absorbed by the plant or the small animal. Those organisms are unable to break down or excrete those molecules. Why are they unable to break them down? Is because they simply lack the enzyme to do so. Because for most of their evolutionary history, they really do not have to deal with those chemicals. So they lack the enzyme to break down those molecules, neither do they have the system to excrete them. And as a result, those chemicals are stored in the tissue and accumulate inside their bodies. This is known as bioaccumulation. Because the chemical cannot be excreted, so they accumulate inside their body. and this is known as bioaccumulation. What happens next is small fishes will go and eat the plant and will inherit those chemicals. But of course, fishes will not just eat one plant. They will eat many of the plant that contains the chemical. And as a result, the chemical builds up in their body. And the chemical is passed along the food chain, increasing in concentration in bodies of organisms along the trophic level. And this is known as bioamplification. What happens next is in comes a big fish, and of course the big fish do not just eat one little fish. It will eat multiple of the small fish, and the molecules get amplified even more. So chemical cannot be excreted is known as bioaccumulation, while the concentration increasing along the food chain is known as bioamplification. So in the end, the top consumer will accumulate large amount of these toxic molecules, and due to bioamplification, the top consumer will suffer the toxic effect. And most of the time, the top consumer is either us or the apex predator. So in summary, discharge of poisonous matter or insecticide into water body will cause small organism or plant to absorb the toxic molecules into their body. Their bodies are unable to excrete or break them down, and the concentration will accumulate. This is known as bioaccumulation. Organism of the next trophic level will consume a large number of the smaller organism, and the concentration of toxic molecules amplifies. And this is known as bioamplification. So that is all for this video. Join us in the next video on the polluting effect of untreated sewage as well as fertilizer.